Disney fans and purists are outraged. Film at 11. Hello, Internet folks. So I've been reading some of the Disney fan sites recently.
I've made a huge mistake.
Specifically about the replacement of Universe of Energy with the Guardians of the Galaxy and Remy going into France at World Showcase. And reading through the comments, I've noticed that some of the fans, some of these Disney fans and purists, were really upset about the addition of IP into EPCOT. And it got me thinking about EPCOT's early history in the 1980s, because as we know, EPCOT opened in 1982, and a few years after that, in 1984, Michael Eisner and Frank Wells joined the Walt Disney Company. Now, when they came into the company, they actually got a tour of the different segments, the different divisions that the Walt Disney Company owned at the time, and of course, that included the parks and resorts. So they got tours of Disneyland and the Magic Kingdom in Florida, and the newly opened EPCOT Center. And when they went to EPCOT Center, Michael Eisner noticed that, you got a great theme park here, but no characters. And sure enough, a lot of the surveys that they were getting back from guests, especially when guests who had children, said the same thing, that you have a great park, but there's no characters. And the Imagineers in the early part of EPCOT Center's history tried really hard to say, Magic Kingdom, that's where the characters are, that's where fantasy lives, and EPCOT, this is about the real world. And even Ron Schneider, the first walk-around Dreamfinder, confirms this too, that EPCOT Center at the beginning was intended to not have any characters. The only characters that were supposed to be there were Dreamfinder and Figment. After Michael Eisner and Frank Wells' tour of EPCOT Center, along with the surveys they got back from guests, they decided to bring characters into EPCOT Center. So for those Disney fans and purists making comments about IP and characters coming into their beloved EPCOT attractions, they should really take a look at EPCOT Center's past. And in my opinion, some great things really did come into EPCOT Center in the late 80s and early 90s. So for example, you had Bill Nye the Science Guy at Innoventions explaining what is an innovation, what are innovations, and Bill Nye and Ellen DeGeneres at the Universe of Energy at Ellen's Energy Adventure. And as much as I enjoy the original Universe of Energy, You Make the World Go Round, you have to admit that Ellen's Energy Adventure was more appropriate for that mid-90s audience. In addition, we had characters at the different pavilions at the World Showcase, so we had meet and greets now, and of course, 1980s spacesuit Mickey and Minnie. So in my opinion, a lot of these Disney fans and purists who are commenting that they're upset about the introduction of Marvel characters or Pixar characters or other IPs into EPCOT are missing two major points. One is that the Walt Disney Company is a business. They are in the entertainment industry. They're there to make money. And neither the company, the shareholders, the guests, or the cast members will do well if the company doesn't keep up with current trends and what the public demands. And second, whether you agree with it or not, this is the trend that is happening in the theme park industry. And it is what the majority of the theme park going public wants. It's what they recognize and what they can identify with. And yes, it would be great if Disney made new IP for the parks, but it might not resonate with the majority of the theme park going public, and it might not have the ROI, the return on investment, that the theme park expects. So here's an example. In 2009, when Hong Kong Disneyland was going to expand, they first had to get approval from the Hong Kong Legislative Council. They were granted that approval on the condition that they create two new exclusive properties for Hong Kong Disneyland, Mystic Point and Grizzly Gulch. So while Grizzly Gulch and Mystic Manor are two beautiful lands at Hong Kong Disneyland, talking to Hong Kong Disneyland management, I found out that it didn't create the kind of buzz that they were expecting or that they were hoping for. Sorry, Lord Henry. So yes, while new IPs are refreshing and great, especially to Disney fans, it might not be what the general theme-going public wants. So finally, I would argue, if by bringing Frozen into Norway, or Remy into France, or Crush and Turtle Talk into the living seas, a child, an adult, a guest is more interested in Norway or Scandinavia, or France, or marine biology, isn't that what EPCOT Center was dedicated to do? Entertain, inform, and inspire? Well, that does it for this time, Internet folks. I'll see you next time.